Good afternoon, class. If you remember from yesterday, we read a book called What Makes a Shadow by Clyde Robert Bula. Can someone tell me if they remember what it's about?
Amanda. Shadows.
Good. What about, can anyone else elaborate on what a shadow is or what makes a shadow? Jeff.
Trees make a shadow.
Good. Trees can make shadows, but is there anything else that can make a shadow? Anyone else can help?
The sun.
Good. Today we are going to be creating our own shadows inside. We will be using a flashlight to create the shadow. So, who would like to have their shadow created and who would like to trace their partner's shadow?
I can trace the shadow.
Okay. Amanda, are you okay with having your shadow traced? Okay. I'm going to turn off the lights, so just be prepared. So, the flashlight, or the sun is in the morning. And this would be your shadow in the morning.
Done.
Good.
Need new color.
Now, as the day goes on, the sun starts to go above you. Now, this is what your shadow would look like at about lunchtime, or 12 o'clock p.m.
Miss Frame, there is no shadow.
Why do you think that is?
Oh no.
It's because the sun is right above you. So your shadow is directly underneath you, so you can't see it. But as the day continues, what happens?
It comes back. It goes the other way.
Yeah. Amanda, is there any way you can make your shadow bigger or smaller? What are you doing to make it bigger or smaller?
Moving.
Good. How about, can you make your shadow do anything special?
Get wiggle.
Good. So anything that you do, your shadow will do. It's like it's following you. Now that we trace the shadows, we're going to take these markers and find out how long your shadow is, or the length of your shadow. So you can each take some markers and lay out the markers to find the length of each shadow. And then when you find the length, I would like you to write down how many markers it took to get the length. put your hands on your head when you're done finding the length of your shadow, of one of the shadows. Put your hands on your head. Okay, now we're going to count how many markers it took to find the length. And we're going to record it on the sheet.
Well-
So hold on, we're going to count together. So let's start with the morning shadow. So which one was the morning shadow? Who remembers? Amanda? This one? Good. So let's count how many markers we have. Can we count together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a half. Good. I like that you realized that it wasn't a full marker, so we have to make that a half. So can you please write that number for the morning shadow? What about at noon? What did the shadow look like then? Does anyone remember? Yeah.
Miss Rain, there was no shadow at noon.
Right, so can we measure anything?
No.
So what would we put? How many markers would we have for that shadow? Amanda? 0. Good. Would you like to write that? Okay. Now we're going to count how many markers it took for the afternoon shadow. Which one was the afternoon shadow? Good. Okay. Let's count how many markers we have together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Could you please record that number on this? Thank you. So, which shadow was the smallest? Jeff,
Noon.
why do you say that?
Because it's 0. The others are bigger.
Good. So there was nothing there at that point because the shadow was right above us. Which shadow was the longest? Amanda. Good. Why do you say that?
Because 12 markers is more than
Good. Depending on where the sun was, the shadow can be longer or shorter. And like when Amanda was sitting in the middle, when you move, your shadow can change as well. Now that we measured the length of our shadows, we're going to mark which one was in the morning and which one was at the nighttime shadow. So choose a marker, and I want you to put a sun on the morning shadow and a moon on the night shadow. Good. Now, an X where your shadow would be at noon. If you were standing in the middle, where would your shadow be at? It's okay, Jeff. But when you're standing in the middle, your shadow at noon is going to be right below you. So put the X in the middle. That's where your shadow is. Good. Now that we learned so much about shadows, can you tell each other one thing that you learned about shadows today?
I learned that at noon, your shadow is right below you, so you can't see it.
Good.
the shadows get bigger and smaller.
Good. So now, when you go outside to play on the playground or outside at your house, you can go to find a different object and see its shadow, and you can check back on it at different times of the day and see how its shadow changed.
Bye, Nikki!
Bye.